G'day farmers and welcome back to the Animal Husbandry series. I can't wait for this one. It's got a huge episode in store for you this week. We're buying all the animals. I'm sharing all the values I've worked over in the last month and a half. Much more. Is it worth buying the actual shop feed compared to growing your own crops? What the different values are, what the different prices are. I'm in hard difficulty. Last episode we got a ton of straw, which I plan to turn into manure, which we need roughly 11,600 litres over the next 12 months for 12 cows over the age of 12 months. I know that's a lot of 12s, a lot of numbers. I'll show all the values as I will at the end when we buy all our animals. Now, I've done a little bit off camera and let's just go on over to Heather because this episode, we need to get some wheat harvested to get some feed for chickens and some pigs. Whether we use it for the pigs or not, I might buy some pig feed, but I kind of went OCD off camera and I saved your head and your eyes a little bit of pain from me left and jumping and moving the screen and camera and all that sorts of stuff. So what we got here is two separate piles. I'll go over this one very quickly. We've got 16 700-litre bales of straw and one 600-litre bale of hay. This will equal 99% straw, and just 100 litres of this hay bale will equal forage in that TMR mixer, which is a messed up or incorrect TMR mix, or forage is also known as hay, which is perfect for this animal husbandry series as we can feed the sheep, we can feed the horses, we can feed the rabbits over there. We can get a lot out of just this one little bale and some cheap straw instead of selling it like I plan to do with the rest of it. As I said, I'll get much more use out of it than actually selling it. This pile over here, very quickly, is included with that silage pit at about 10% or so. We haven't really progressed too far in the month just yet. That's because I'm just lacking on the amount of time throughout the week to record, edit, and upload these sorts of videos. So I do apologize, but it is what it is. Continuing on with this pile, we've got the bottom layer, which is 5 700-litre bales of straw and 7 600-litre bales of hay, plus 4,200 litres of silage, which we need to add a little bit more silage when we cut more grass in November. We'll try and get that done ASAP. We'll add to that silage, but we'll need 5 700-litre bales, 7 600-litre bales of hay, and 4,200 litres of that silage, which I said we'll have to add to. The mineral feed is not worth it, in my opinion, in comparison of the prices. As you can see, it's just $1.05 compared to like 20 cents or whatever it is each average on the grass, hay, silage, and straw. I'm just not going to be using mineral feed because it does not increase any productivity in any of the animals, especially the cows, which you use it for. The only reason you use the mineral feed would be probably for that barn with that robotic feeder. So moving on, let's get into the episode harvesting that wheat field. Next episode, we'll need to get more grass with that contract cutting, and we'll sell off some of this straw, dump some into the cows, and get on with it. Let's get to it. Start her up and let's get going. I'll try not to do too many collectibles, as I've also run some more numbers. We're going to need about 15-ish grand if we want to buy all those animals and the TMR mixer, etc, etc. Even if we go into negative in the next month, I'm not too worried because we'll always be able to make it back before the end of that month. We've got like 4 different jobs by the end of this month. Hopefully we'll get the same thing next month. Alright, I nearly forgot, but I've actually even worked out how much straw 12 cows will go through in a 12-month period if you're buying 12-month age cows. And that's roughly 14,000 litres of straw. So I'm going to put roughly yay much in, and that's probably going to be as much as they're going to need for 12 months. And then after that, they'll start the reproduction and get into that as well. So 13,353, not as much as I thought it would be. Let's just tip in a little bit more. There we go. 16, so 17,000 liters of that. That's perfect by me. So let me just get out of here. I'm going to go grab the rest of the straw on the front field, and we'll try and get any of it sold. Let's see what sort of prices we can get for it. Let's get out of here very quickly. There we go. What sort of prices are we getting for straw? Straw, here we are. Farmers market, 35. Okay, so it looks like that doesn't exist. I can't find it, or it's not being nice at the present moment. Pine Creek Bales, where are you? Pine Creek Bales, there it is up there. That's pretty good. Let's see if we can go up here. It's the same sort of price. I couldn't find the other one, but that should do perfectly fine. It's up near the biogas plant. So let's get on driving. Let's collect this first, and let's go and drop it all off. Nom 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 nom. All the excess straw that we're not going to need at the present moment. Here we are, first time at the biogas plant. It's very open, good for turning. There's the digestate we'll try and get in the future. It's very expensive at 880k, I'm pretty sure. Alright. $809 plus 35 for the environmental. I guess something's better than nothing. Something is definitely better than nothing. So let's go and get that second load, drop it off, get onto that weight, and get onto some more animals. I don't know why I said it like that. But anyways, you know what I mean. Cut on out. Well, not into the trees. Yeah, there's the sound right there. Very reminiscent. Cut in here. Easy. That indicator has always reminded me of my grandfather's old Valiant. 67 Valiant. It sounds almost identical. Here we go. So we got $809 dues from our last one, but this isn't quite so full. So we should get roughly just under half of that. So maybe like 400 bucks. 394 plus 17. Very, very, very nice. Let's head back to the farm. Bring that harvester and bring on the trailer down to that wheat field and get on to actually getting some more money and getting some more animals. Super psyched, super psyched. Home, James. All right, seeing as though we need this forage wagon, my apologies for the other episode. Very soon we'll need that for more straw that we can probably sell as well. So I need to go over and get the trailer, get that harvester down there as well, and get things done. Here's the trailer. Get that one hooked up, and we'll turn that off. Yep, there it is. Boink. Nope, too far away. Start her up. Let's see if we can back her out nice and easy. See, going backwards. Front wheel drive. Very strange. Said no one ever unless you're driving a harvester. Driving forwards. Rear steering. Whee! And I need to go down that way. And the funny thing about this is when I bought it, I thought this had a trailer hitch. So I tried to connect it up in the in the last episode, and it wouldn't allow me to do it. And that's because this thing is too high to get underneath to go to that tow ball hitch or that pin hitch. Cannot believe it, so I'm just going to back it up a little bit. Need to go over more, obviously. Oh, yeah, no, definitely too late. No, other way. I'm stuck. Have I really Austin Powers myself? No, I'm stuck on a door. Alright, that should have been a lot easier than what it actually ended up being. I glitched into walls, the header kept disappearing, I couldn't pick it up with the harvester, glitching into walls, character, harvester, header, trailer, trying to get the trailer attached to the actual harvester under that little bit there has been an absolute nightmare. But we're now finally on our way, nearly gets taken out, finally on our way to get that wheat done and getting some money. Much easier to drive in the cab just through here. But we're finally coming up to the field of wheat. And then we'll need to go and grab the tractor and trailer. So I'm kind of curious if we're going to have a decent amount from all this, as that farmer did say he did look after it, and we kind of saw it on the grass field. We got a really good yield out of it and all that sorts of stuff. So let's get everything set up and I'll see you when we're ready to grow. Time to bring good old Red down. This has been one of the best tractors I have ever come across in this game, for the fact that it has the front 3-point hitch, the PTO, has the front loader arm. It's got so much, as well as that 200 horsepower. It is absolutely great. Like, this thing, for the value and the price, it's just great. I highly recommend this for pretty much anyone. All right, back with our grain trailer. Let's just park it here, nice and easy, out of the road, as that trailer is kind of in the way. So let's see if I can just push it out of the way, nice and easy, nice and easy. That should hopefully be okay. And then I can swing it wide around. And as you can see, no matter how you look at it, I'm going to take a huge penalty to try and fix these actual hedges for the owner of this road and stuff. So that's definitely 150 we need to remove. No, not 1650. No, just 150. Pretty please. Just so we can actually have some hedge maintenance for the owner of this road. So, because we're nice people. We're nice people. So let's just turn this off, and I'm going to open that gate right now for when we need to. And cue time lapse. Get that lowered, get us started. Let's go. Always love the startup of this thing. Little Steam achievement, cool. I won't complain. Are we going to be able to finish it before we hit 100? I think so. I think we're going to be sweet. And bingo. Not too bad at all. Let's extend that pipe out. See if we can see it from here. Don't think so. No, not particularly. Whoa, where am I going? Let's get this dumped off. Nice and easy. Beauty. Hopefully it'll all fit in the trailer. Would be fantastic. Need to give this harvester a clean before we store it away for pretty much almost a year. I'd really like to get a sorghum contract though. Talking about contracts. What do we got? Baling, 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 and baling. Oh, here we go. So we got fertilizing. Is that all we got? We just got baling. Okay, fantastic. Oh, just didn't have enough. It's got 3%. Oh well, let's pipe that in and let's turn that engine off. Let's get into the tractor, go back and dump lots into those chickens. And then I think I may go and do a little treasure hunt quickly, just so we have enough money to actually get what we need and buy all the animals we want. As I really don't want to get the treasures or the collectibles, certainly not all of them. But just a few at the start would certainly be a massive help in getting all these animals up and going as fast as possible. Here we are, back on home turf once again after doing that wheat field. Still need to get that straw off it. We'll probably sell it, or let me know in the comments below if I should change that pigsty pen to something a little more upscale, just so I'm allowed to put some straw and get some like slurry and manure, something a bit more profitable out of the pigs after I've run the numbers. So what I want to do right now before we buy any of these animals is I want to store. If we take a sneak peek at what we need to feed the chickens over the next 12 months with 15 chickens at the certain age, we'll need 2,325 litres of wheat, barley or oat. So let's store 2,600 just like so, and we can sell the absolute rest of this, including what we have in our harvester, back at the field. So let's head back to the harvester, fill up with the rest of it, and let's go ahead and sell this wherever we can. What sort of prices are we looking at? Here we go. We got wheat, 284 at the grain mill. Obviously, we know where this one is because I do plan to buy this to make bread and cakes. That's right there. So let's head up to the harvester. As I said, grab that last 3%. Sell the rest of this as what we have in the silo at the present moment, as we'll just see and double check. 2,700, that's more than enough than what we'll need. We'll only need about 23, 25 litres to feed those 15 chickens, including their offsprings, remind you, over the next 12 months. So we could even double up on our chickens, not that we really need to get that reproduction rate up. 15 out of 50 capacity is more than enough. And let's get to it. We'll need to still mulch the wheat field to get that proper max yield out of it. And also I've just realized I need to hire or lease a roller just to get that grass field growing once more, as it's not growing, and we need to cut that in November if we want to add that silage and try and get a bit more money hopefully before the winter kicks in. So we'll be right back, grain mill, don't you worry. We'll be right back. Here we go, we'll just offload that last little bit and then turn that harvester off. We'll have to take this back to the field. I'll do that off camera, nice and easy, so we don't have to worry about it. All right, here we are turning into the grain mill to sell all of this wheat on our field. All of this is just pure profit pretty much, apart from buying the field. And I'm selling it all now instead of storing it and selling it at the best price of the year, as it's probably the lowest time right now, is for the fact that we really need money, and the less I have to find in collectibles, as I hate using collectibles, but since we have the enhanced loan system mod, we can't take any more money out whatsoever. So we're kind of limited on that. And with the amount of animals I'm planning to buy, we're going to have to collect a few of them, because we're going to have to lease new equipment, including a TMR mixer, a grass roller to get that grass field growing again to cut it in November. Just learnt that now. And also a mulcher to get that full maximum yield potential, which we plan to plant barley in next month. So it's just a higher yield and it's just better overall in terms of different animals can take that sort of feed. So I'm going to drop this off. We need to hire those 3 pieces of equipment and bring them on back. Might leave the mulcher down there, as that still needs to be done on that field very quickly. And get on to buying all the animals, sharing all the numbers I've actually worked so hard on over the last month. To see if it's worth buying the crops, or sorry, worth growing the crops, or if it's worth buying the food. As well as much, much more. So let's dump that right there and get a move on. So let's hire those 3 items right now. And there's nothing in the lease items. No, not really. Nothing really in our budget anyways. All right, so it looks like our cheapest roller is 41 grand, unfortunately. But let's see how much it is. So it's $2,000 just to lease this thing. Hopefully the mulcher isn't that much expensive, as we don't really need such a big size, but we're going on sort of the base sort of game with quality of life mods. Next up, we need to get a mulcher, and let's see what the smallest size kind of one we can get. Oh, that's kind of a little bit too small, to be honest. 1 meter, 1.4, 2, 3. I don't think, yeah, I think we're going with the 3 on this one. Lease 484. Any sort of options? No. So that should be fine as well. And the TMR mixer, I've already set my eyes on. It's going to be this bad boy right here, the RA142 11,900 litre capacity TMR mixer. This thing's going to be an absolute boss. I'm going to love it. So that's an extra $1,500. No problemo. Even if we go into the negative next month, I won't be so hard for the fact that we've got all the equipment that we'll need. We may have to buy the water tank to be able to swap it over to use the manure tank side of it, the slurry tank side of it, and the milk tank side of it somewhat. It may be really quite useful. So let's go back. Oh, I'm nearly forgetting. I need to go grab that forage wagon to grab all that straw so we can also sell that without having to collect so many collectibles, and I drove past it. So I'll meet you back at the field. This time I'll put it on the correct side of the wagon, of the trailer, and there goes an autosave. And go around it. Jump. Yep, we're good. No damage. Cool. Winning. Get those beacons on. Just in case you can't see me coming down the road. You know, just in case. Alright, before I put this harvester away for storage for the next, say, 12 months or something like that, let's give her a wash. Here we go. So 2 separate mods. One cheap mod for this actual pressure hose itself. It's like 136 bucks to place down. And I might move it, like, say, just there or something, as it kind of blocks going into the horses. And a separate mod showing the percentage of dirt on the item or equipment you're pointing at. So there you go. It's all nice and clean. Let's put that back. Start it on back up again. And let's put this probably in there, as this is really tall. Doesn't really fit much else. Might even be better in the silage pit, because we're only going to need one at a time. We've only got one grass field. There we go, shut that off. Let's get this header on home. And the good thing about comparing to FS17 and 19, that header would have just fallen off the trailer and been an absolute nightmare to fix. I'm so glad that is now a part of FS22, where it somewhat glues itself to the header trailer. It's so good. All right, here we are back on home turf once more. Let's wash this header for its year-long storage as well. Turn the engine off this time. And let's get this thing washed. Quite dirty, actually. 78 or so %. Wow. There we go. Give the trailer as well. Finish that one off too. Very nice. Very nice. While we're here, let's just give the tractor a good old wash too. Make it nice and shiny for us to make it dirty again pretty damn fast, probably. All right. I'm going to leave this mulcher right here for now. Oh, yeah, because I don't want it to be turned. I don't want to be able to mulch at the same time and screw up the straw or something like that. So we'll just separate them without falling into the creek. Water is for animals, not for us. Thank you very much. Connect that up. See if we can get that lowered when it wants to. There we go. There we go, get it turned on. Oh, there we go, we just finished loading. We got 23,000 litres per load. Let's go see how much each of these loads are worth. And I may actually keep one full load in the actual wagon, waiting for everyone's reply on the upgrade to the pigs to enable us to get that manure and slurry perhaps. Here we go. Here's a little bit easier. It's a little cheaper, but at the same time, we're going to save a little bit on fuel. So that kind of works out for me in the end. So let's get $33 per 1,000 litres at Valley View Bales. That should be perfectly fine. As I was mistaken, the biogas does not take it. I'm a silly sausage. So $33 per 1,000 litres is not exactly the worst thing ever, but we don't have much of a choice as we need money ASAP, as I hate having to worry about getting those collectibles for the fact that it's just a pain in the butt and I find it really cheaty. There we go, $7.75. Oh, there we go. There's another load of 23,000. So I may even just sell most of this and go and collect the rest of that. All right, here we are on to selling our second full load of straw for like $33 per 1,000 litres, which I guess isn't too bad. And I will collect the rest of the straw that's on the field. I'd say it's probably roughly around 10,000, 11,000 or whatever it is, but we'll find out at the end of next episode or whatever it is, at the end of the episode, for the fact that I really want to get onto buying all these animals, getting the collectibles to buy the animals, and explaining how much they're worth and a lot more. So $7.75 times 2 plus 66 plus times 2 ain't too bad for pretty much free money, just about, and every dollar counts at the present moment, as I really do hate collecting any treasures, and I certainly won't be collecting them all for the fact I really find them cheaty. But with my enhanced loan system mod, I am absolutely maxed out on the amount I can take from the bank. So I'm pretty much on my own from here on out. Any money I make, any money I find is up to me. There we go, nice and easy. So we ended up getting just under 6,200 litres to give us that option on the pigs. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave this forage wagon right next to the pig pen with the straw in it. Whatever we have left from that wheat field that we didn't sell, that we're going to save. So with that being said, let's get on to the animals and all of these treasures now that we see it in the corner of our little eye. So there's 5 on the farm. And there's a few over there with all those sorts of little houses that we'll get to. So let's collect them all. We've got one here, and it's really good that they're only $1,000 each. As I find most games, it's been a lot more. We have another one just down here somewhere. Now, here it is. There's 2,000. Super speed. We have another one over here by the horses. There's 3,000. Whoop, too far. Wrong room. Here's another one. There's 4,000. I hate having to do this, but I don't have much of a choice because of our enhanced loan system mod. There's 5. Hopefully I can count. Let's go across the road and get the rest of them. Let's feed my cat. There you go, buddy. Let's zoom on across the road. Let's get a few more. We've got one more right here, which is right over the road from our farm. There we go. There's 6,000. Here's another one. There's 7,000. Here's another one. 8,000. We got another one. 9,000. And then from here, right across over here, 9, come down here. Here, we got 10. So that's 10 grand that we've been able to, since the bank can't help us out, those cheap so-and-sos. And then 11 and 12. So hopefully that should be enough, as I know there's another one around here somewhere, but we'll leave it for now and we'll head back to the farm, driving in our invisible car at the speed of light. All right, chickens, the cows, I need to buy 5 brown Swiss, 5 of them. Yep, thank you very much. The Holsteins, we want to buy 5 of them, totaling 6 each, 12 altogether. That's perfectamundo. We have 15 rabbits. We've got the 2 pigs just over there. We've got 15 chickens. I will plan on buying 1 more horse, but I do need to buy just a little bit of pig feed to get their health up and running nice and well. And I'm going to buy 5 sheep in total. So let's get 3 more of these to total 5 sheep in total. So let's pop into the tractor, feed the chickens with the grain I have pulled from the silo already, nice and quick. Let's pop in here, start it up, and let's tip whatever we can, which is about $12.50 I think it'll take, or even less than that probably. So we can look at all the animals we've got, and let's start from the rabbits. They're fine with the grass for now. We have 15 of them. That's awesome sauce. Chickens, we've got 15. They have 100% grain. They don't need water. They will produce the eggs ASAP. And I'm roughly equating these 15 chickens, including their reproduction and their chicks, over the next 12 months. They will eat 2,325 litres of grain per 12 months, as each chicken between the age of 0 to 24 months inclusive will eat 5 litres of grain per month. So that times 15 chickens, times all their reproduction, all that sorts of stuff, is equal to 2,325 litres. It is what it is. Or if we scroll down this little thing a little bit more, we look at the prices of those litres in wheat, sorghum, and barley. So obviously I've chosen the sorghum or barley for the fact that they're just a lot more general purpose in what I need in terms of their yield potential, the price, etc., etc. The total crop value for the 12 month is obviously $1,218. Or if you were to purchase The shop food, aka the wheat for chickens, it would roughly equate to $3,255. So that's $7 per 5 liters, or roughly $1.40 a liter for the shop food, in terms of what you'd pay per month for barley for $1.89, $2.04 for wheat, or $2.62 for our sorghum. It's just, in comparison, like, grow your stuff. It's so much better. You'll save half money. And these prices don't include any equipment lease, hire, buying, purchasing, repairing, all that sorts of stuff, as well as the seeds. It doesn't include either of those, for the fact that you can work out how much you pay to that field to get that up and running as you expect it to do. So moving on to the actual pigs, they're a little bit more difficult, and I plan to get some greenhouses, which I may have to get 1 or 2 more treasures after this to make sure I can put that down to get this food up and running, depending how your replies go in the comments below on if I should upgrade for free this pen to a bigger size one. I don't care about the capacity of pigs, but just for the ability to have manure and slurry come out of it, to be able to use it, if anything, would be so much better in terms of what I'd be able to put into it. Their reproduction isn't that great over the next 12 months. And if we look at the next slide over, they consume quite a bit. And when they first start out, they start out eating roughly 31.7 liters of food over the base food, the grain, protein, and root crops. So if we work down this list a little bit more, that works out to be 1,883 liters of pig food we'd need to feed them over the course of the next 12 months, including their reproduction, all that stuff, yada, yada, yada. So obviously that's not what you paid for to get that crop. You just paid to plant it, your time, the seeds, the equipment, etc., etc. And that's not too bad. According to the shop food, which is $1,723 you'd have to pay to feed the pigs over the next 12 months. And that's all of these values I'm talking about and the amounts and ages that you'll see. So if we're going over the crop type per month, prices for all these crops, it's $8.28 for sorghum, $3.02 for barley, $4.59 for canola, and 24 cents for sugar beet, or $16.39 per 31.7 liters. And all you got to do is double that for a pig over the age of 7 months. So it's about 51 cents or about $1 per liter to feed the pigs, which ain't too bad in terms of crop feed. So in terms of the pig food, 31.7 liters is roughly $29 in pig food from the shop. It's really quite rough at 91 cents. So it's not exactly the worst thing ever. And it may be worth at least starting the pigs for the first 12 months just on some pig feed before we can get those greenhouses, which I'll purchase and place off screen to get them up and running ASAP. So next up on our list, we have our sheep. And obviously they're really easy to look after. They'll produce the wool. They just take the hay. Ignore what it says there. They can take the hay or that forage I was talking at the start of the episode. 99% straw, 1% hay equates to a lot of hay that you can feed all your animals, etc., etc. It's great. And these sheep do not take a lot of food, and they do at the same time. So these 5 sheep at the age of 8 months and above, including their reproduction as always, is roughly going to equate to 5,950 liters of hay we need to feed them over the next 12 months. So hay is obviously just comes from grass. It's not really an expenditure, but if you were to sell that quantity of hay to the seller or whatever it is, you'd roughly get around $369, according to my hard difficulty highest prices that you see over the last year's general period. So this is the number I have taken it off if I haven't said already. The sheep can give off 10 litres of wool per sheep per month, which isn't too bad at $1.21 per month per sheep, and it ain't too bad the profits you can get from them, as you can see. So moving on to the cows are a little bit more difficult, and I'm going to have to feed them TMR with that mixer ASAP at the start of next episode before we get on to getting that contract of grass cut, dried, hay, and baled and sold to complete that contract in the next episode. But the cows, I've done a lot of numbers on them for. And if you're curious about any more sort of formula details, just let me know in the comments section below, and I'd be more than happy to oblige, as I love answering and replying to any and all comments, even in the Space Engineers, which will be coming out very soon. So don't you worry about that. So the cows, getting on to it and not getting sidetracked, you'll see that throughout the year, they'll eat a lot of TMR. And the amount of TMR they're probably going to eat, including their reproduction and offspring and all that sorts of stuff, is 44,328 litres, which when you think about it, is a lot. But since I've only been able to cut that small grass field, get a little bit extra grass from that contract in the next episode, it's going to equate to over 47,000 litres of TMR that we have nearly just over 3/4 of already just sitting in hay and silage in that pit over there. But they'll probably take roughly 35% silage, 35% hay, no more than 30% straw. So it has to be around about 29.9% straw for it to work properly. And if we look at an available TMR ratio, as I really don't want to use mineral feed, if we look back at our crops and how much these are worth in comparison to the mineral feed at $1.05, to silage at like 19 cents and lower for the rest of them, it's just really not worth it for 1-to-1 liter kind of equating to. It's just not worth it. So roughly, if you were to sell the actual silage as is instead of giving it to the cows, without the mineral feed, it would cost just under $5,000. If you had the mineral feed in it, it would roughly be just under that $6,500. So that mineral feed adds a lot of price at $1,900 for what you need to fill it all out, if we were to use everything we have available right this very second without that contract. So that contract will allow us to expand the hay, expand the silage, however we want, without having to spend so much on mineral feed. So now moving on to how much these produce. And each cow will produce 150 litres of milk, 232 litres of slurry, and 168.3 litres of manure, using that 11,600 litres of straw per month, per cow. So if we move on over to the next one, we'll see the total of what we get per cow, per sheep, per everything. So we'll get roughly 1,373 from just selling all the milk, $100 from the slurry, which we'll probably just use in fertilizer, much better. We'll have to get the Azaria Pro on that slurry spreader as well. And we'll probably roughly get $872 from selling that manure, which is really, really nice. So moving on to the actual horses, which I'll definitely get an extra one when we have a little bit more money. And apart from riding them and all that sorts of stuff, I've got a couple of values here. And as it says, horse values used out of the two possibilities that I found online. They were really conflicting on which one was the correct one, so I put both of them. So you're either going to spend 4,440 in the grain like sorghum or oats, and 13,000 roughly 300 of hay. So I don't think that's the actual value. I think it's the lower one, the option 2, at 1110 litres for sorghum and 3324 litres for hay, as I just find that works in better with all the values I've gotten so far. So if you were to sell that sort of hay and that sort of sorghum or oats or whatever it may be, it'd be $28.55 if you sold that quantity in oats for option 1, $23.27 for option 1 as well if you were to sell it in sorghum. And then if you were to sell it in oats and sorghum, as you see for option 2, it's $7.14 and $5.82. Very simple, very easy. We've got the hay at $8.24 and $2.06. Is very representative of those numbers above. So comparison to the shop is roughly 50% what we have been seeing, quite generalized in all 3 of these types of feeds. And finally, on to when we're able to sell any over the next 12 months only, as I'll have to add to this what you're looking at now, and that's a lot of red. I understand that's what we paid for all of these animals, except for that bottom one. We only paid for 1 horse so far, but that will be updated when I get into more. So as you can see, all the way on the right-hand side for the profit in money, or negative profit, as you can see, it's all red, quite a lot, but we're still saving a bit of money without having to lease out and pay for that animal transport trailer. Might buy a small cage for the chickens, but that's about it for now. And lastly, we've got $1,600 negative for buying those 2 horses when we get to that at that stage. So finally, we get on to the total profit we're expected to make within the first 12 months. And it's not a lot, to be honest, but it is what I think to be a perfect start to buying a lot more in the future while getting as much production going as fast and as much quantity as possible. So rabbits was a negative 1,500 because we just had to buy it. We gave them free food, no problem. The chickens are positive $1,390 after selling 15 chickens within the last, say, couple months of the 12 months, as well as selling all of their eggs. So they're actually really good in terms of purchase price, what you get out of them, etc., etc. The pigs, on the other hand, we're probably going to have to spend $900, so that $1,723 is equating to what they need to be fed, and that would equate to negative $2,655 loss for having to buy 2 of those pigs and feed them as well. So it's really quite dear on the pigs, and why I keep asking that question if we should upgrade or not. The sheep are not too bad. They're somewhat paying themselves off at $1,963 in the negative, so that's still a loss. The cows are the big price at $11,814 after selling all their production, using it all, getting as much money as we can from it. We still lost nearly 12 grand from it, but we should be able to get a lot more in the future once they get their reproduction back in going in the 2nd year. The horses, it's just the negative 1,600. We got the oats from doing that contract. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy, no problems. So I hope everything has been laid out as easy as possible. Once again, let me know any formulas you wish to know more about in the comment section below, and I'll answer it, as well as any other comment in the past I have done, as always. My voice is actually getting a little bit tired from this one, and I hope everyone has a fantastic afternoon. Can't wait to see you in the next one, where we finish off that grass contract, getting some more hay, feeding all these animals, getting that TMR mixer up and running, and explaining some ratios to you in some more details. So make sure you stay sharp till then. See ya.